Hello, hello. Welcome to this special transmission here on the Unconscious channel. My name is Andrew Jun Donovan. I'm the founder of Unconscious, and this video is the unveiling of one of the most epic clarity and inner alignment tools the world has ever seen. Today, Unconscious is proud to officially and publicly announce its AI clarity assistant called MindLine. Now, if you've been following along in this mini series that we've been doing for this past week, then you have seen the previous transmissions where we look at how accessing inner clarity, inner truth is really one of the most genius things that a person could ever shift in their life. So many people are used to outsourcing their wisdom, outsourcing their purpose, outsourcing their power, and we just do this because it's so much of how our lives are constructed. We're used to thinking that the power lies with some organization or the people, the authorities outside of us, without realizing that we are our own source of true power. We get so used to outsourcing our purpose. We try to please our parents and please our leaders and please the people around us instead of realizing that our deepest purpose is like soul-led purpose. And the reason why this conversation matters so much is because if you're tuned into this video, you know that you're meant for special, important things. And the truth is that every human being on the planet is just riddled with the seeds of potentiality and has so much capacity to live a beautiful life and contribute beautiful things to the planet, to humanity, to more intimate spaces like their immediate family or the people in their intimate surroundings in life. If you're tuned into this video, then I already know that you're here as a conscious creator and you have these most important questions on your mind, like how do I make the impact that I'm supposed to make? How do I create the things that I'm really supposed to be creating in life? How do I create the kind of life for me that I deserve? And how do I do it in a way that is abundant for the world around me so that it's the kind of energy where the rising tide raises all ships? That's the kind of people who hang out in this space. And that's why I'm so looking forward to this conversation, this unveiling of MindLine. So far in this mini series, we started with this one premise that really shifts the entire conversation of conscious creation, self-improvement, personal development, mindfulness, therapy, life coaching, like any human conversation where we're talking about how to improve our state so that we can then go into the world and live better lives and contribute more meaningfully or create like epically and powerfully beyond belief even. This one premise changes the whole conversation. And it's the premise that says there's a difference between living and creating in response to lack versus creating from our own inherent wholeness. And what that means, to paraphrase very simply, is that most people are running around the world responding to the lack that they perceive. They think that they are deficient in some way, they're lacking something or many things that they think they need. They don't have the relationships or the money or the opportunity or the skills or the talents or the self-discipline. And they look in the world and they see the lack, that there's injustices, that there's imbalances, that they just respond to the lack. But the only thing that feels lack is a person in lack. And the whole point of this conversation that we've been having this week is that the reason why we take action and do whatever we're doing to improve ourselves and improve our circumstances and improve the world around us is because we know at some level, our deepest level, that we are meant to be whole. And we're not meant to be whole because we aren't whole now. We're meant to be whole because wholeness is our ultimate truth. It's the state that we came into this world as. And the easiest way to illustrate this is actually with what we're talking about here today, as I get to unveil this new most powerful tool for inner clarity and inner alignment. You see, inner clarity really is one of the most genius things that a person can ever make the decision to tap into because we can spend our entire lives running around the world looking for answers outside of us. But you and I both know that the people who have had the biggest breakthroughs, the people who have ascended to levels of their own inherent greatness, notice the language, their own inherent greatness. It's internal. It's not because someone on the outside gave them the perfect step-by-step plan or said, you do this step, then that step, then that step, then that step. Like sometimes we tap into guidance from wise mentors or coaches or people who have walked the path before us and maybe laid out a plan. But the most epic adventures are always the ones where we don't know exactly what the adventure is going to be. And this is a thing that I've actually learned in my career, where I've spent many years as a coach, as a guide, as a mentor. I used to really pride myself in developing strategies that other people could plug into. So back in the early days of my entrepreneurship, I developed strategies for network marketers, and I was really successful and made a big name for myself. And people, I have so many messages from those years when people said, "We love your strategy. Your strategy helped me achieve this level of success, make this much money, make this much progress in my business." And I thought that was really cool. But over many years of this, I started to realize that it was kind of a wonky idea to think that we're all supposed to have the same journey. But this is like something that we subject ourselves to all the time, where it's like maybe you grew up in a family where everyone in the family is a doctor, and so you're like, I guess I have to be a doctor, so I don't tick off the grandparents and disappoint the parents. But deep down inside, you're supposed to be a musician, not a doctor, just as an example. Or you're in some field where there are people who are blazing trails ahead of you and they've become very successful and they're publishing stuff on the internet that says, if you want the results, here's the 12-step plan you need to follow. This is exactly what I did to become a CEO of $100 million brand. And so you're like, oh, I better do those 12 steps. But deep down inside, you and I both know that your journey is never supposed to be somebody else's journey. I mean, literally, it can't be because they're a different human being walking in a different set of shoes, like physically in different places on the planet. So you can't have the same journey. But we subject ourselves to this all the time where we think maybe we don't have the answers, so we try to emulate the guidance and advice of people who claim they do have the answers. And I'm going to tell you right now, as somebody who has made a career in the past of giving advice, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The best advice you could ever receive is not going to be wisdom from outside of you. Sometimes another person will have something that lights something up within you. But the whole reason why it was valuable is not because they had the answers you were missing. It's because they had something that lit something up within you. And if you pay really close attention to your favorite success stories, the most inspiring people that you look up to, you'll realize that it's the people who were the self-proclaimed daredevils, the people who were willing to carve their own path ahead, that were willing to take risks and follow the impulses that maybe were a little bit scary or a lot of bit scary. The people who finally realized that everything they were seeking was inside of them. And this is the premise behind Unconscious MindLine. Right now, in the world of personal development, entrepreneurship, conscious creation. There are so many growth tools. There are coaching programs and mindfulness practices and physical practices like yoga and things that people are doing with their physical bodies. There's talk therapy. There are so many tools and resources to tap into to get guidance, to get clarity. And in the world of technology right now, there is a lot of stuff developing, specifically in the world of AI. And the thing that we're paying attention to at Unconscious, the thing that is most interesting to me as the founder of this space, is that there's so much chatter from people saying, do it this way. If you're not getting the results, it's because you're missing this thing. You need my thing that you're missing. And it's like the world is saying you're lacking the thing that you need. And we're here to tell you that you're not lacking anything. Everything you need to succeed, to thrive, to live the life that you know you're meant to live, or if you are currently thriving, everything you need to go to the next epic level, it's all within you. And so we've done something that nobody else in the technology and personal development space has done. We have built an AI that is coded for one objective to help you realize the blind spots where you're misaligned with your own inner guidance, your own inner clarity, your own true source of authentic power, and to help you realign with the whole of you. That is in conscious MindLine. And it's so fun to watch people's experiences with this because a lot of people have been playing around with asking AI like ChatGPT or Claude or Google Gemini for advice. Like if you're a business owner, people are asking, what content should I produce? Or like how do I define my niche? People are asking AI for all kinds of advice, like relationship advice, advice about their health. And the thing about AI in the traditional sense is that AI is pulling from collective knowledge and then giving the user a distillation of popular opinion. We've built something entirely different. MindLine is built off of a reasoning framework that helps it recognize patterns of resistance and patterns of alignment within the user's own experience and the way that you talk about things. So, for example, a MindLine user was actually just talking to me today about a really important family situation that they're navigating, a sticky family situation, maybe one that a lot of people would consider a little bit of like an impossible situation where it's like, how do we find peace? How do we navigate this like extreme conflict that's been going on for many, many years? And so this MindLine user started the conversation basically saying, should I do this or should I do that? And what MindLine did within just minutes is it quickly recognized where this user was trying to over-explain themselves because they were still outsourcing their power to the family situation in front of them. And they didn't realize this. And this is something that I think is applicable to so many instances in our lives, the lives that we just live as good human beings, and the lives that we live as conscious creators, where so many of us are going out into the world to create families, create businesses, create movements. And it's so easy to slip into patterns where we don't realize that we're outsourcing our truth, outsourcing our guidance, outsourcing our power. We're waiting for permission, or we think that we don't get to truly live our purpose, live our calling, be in our actual power until the circumstances around us have changed, until the enemy has been pushed away. The enemy is now at bay. Now we can move forward in full capacity. We're waiting for things on the outside to either change or to give us permission or to validate us. And I've seen this on every level as the I have worked with clients in the past when I did a lot more coaching, where I worked with people who were very good people, and they were just filled with potent potentiality, but they had hardly had a taste of it because they had so many. They just replayed these patterns of playing comfortable over and over and over and over again. They didn't know how to take risks. They didn't know how to just do the bold, courageous hairy, scary thing that they really felt called to do. And so if that person, if those people today were able to have conversations with MindLine, MindLine would see in a split second where they're choosing comfort and familiarity over their soul calling that they really know is calling them forward. MindLine does not give outside opinion as advice. Like it doesn't tell you what to do. In fact, the example that I'm sharing you right now with this MindLine user today who had a chat with MindLine and was met with a conversation they were not expecting. They were asking, should I send this message to to a family member? And MindLine said, it said, you are still waiting for this person to be out of the picture before you can own what you truly desire. And you're still waiting for permission from this person to just show up as the full version of you with everything you are and everything you value with your true worth because you source it from within, with your true significance because you know you matter just because you matter. That's the kind of conversation it had. So it didn't tell the user you should do this or you should do this. it just points out where the misalignment is and then helps the user come back into alignment with their whole self. In my career, I've also worked with very powerful, very great people. Like everybody's great, but I'm talking about people who achieve levels of greatness that as human beings we would collectively applaud. We would say they've done great things. I've worked with people who have achieved great things, and even in their greatness, they still unknowingly outsource their power or are sourcing their power through manipulative means, and they're unaware of it. And this is why a tool like MindLine is so valuable. Some of the people that I've worked with where they've achieved like massive levels of influence, massive levels of income, but they still don't see where their power is sourced from ego, from responding to fear, lack, areas where they're not used to being whole with themselves. And so it takes this tremendous amount of energy to prop the whole system up, to like keep the beast fueled, if you could describe, if I could describe it that way. And a tool like MindLine is able to help a very powerful person realize where some of their power is them expressing the love, the greatness, the truth that they really are. And maybe a bunch of their powers also being it's like that kind of ego power, the kind of power that is only powerful if it's controlling people, if it's controlling outcomes, if it's controlling situations. And so it takes the form of manipulation. It takes the form of needing to get things from other people or needing to keep opposition at bay. And MindLine can see all of those patterns. And so the difference between MindLine and other tools in this space is that it has nothing to do with another person's opinion about what you should be, what you should do, or who you are. It's not based off of an organization's frameworks for you. MindLine's only assumption is this: you are your whole truth, meaning you came into this world as the perfect embodiment of worth, like you were just worthy. And you came into this life as the perfect embodiment of deserving. You're deserving of goodness, of kindness, of love. And you came into this world with perfect belonging. You belong where you appreciate being. You don't belong everywhere. You belong where you love being, where you appreciate being. You belong to yourself. And you came into this world with perfect significance, meaning that you exist, you matter just because you exist. Before you go into the world trying to contribute in meaningful ways, you matter just because you exist, and you are inherently free. You came into this world free to just be exactly what you were, a helpless little blob of human being that needed every help with everything. You came into this world free to be exactly what you are and free to become anything you desire to become. That is the core premise of MindLine. You are that whole truth. And as we go into the world as conscious creators, there's so much beautiful opportunity, so much life in front of us that we get to live in our whole truth. And so I want to just explain a little bit about what this looks like because a user of MindLine can bring any subject to MindLine that matters. It can be those subjects that you're working on where you've got all your big dreams and your hopes and your passions. It could be something that, an idea that you're just hatching. Like maybe it's time to launch the business you haven't launched, or it's time to go pursue the new career that you haven't allowed yourself to say yes to yet. It could be a decision that you're making, or it could be something that you're actively engaged in and you're wondering, how do I navigate this? How do I make myself magnetic to more opportunities, better results, the right kinds of opportunities, how more of the things that I really want to see happening. Like you can bring any subject and any desire to MindLine, and MindLine is going to notice where you're aligned with your whole truth and where you're not. And the reason why this matters so much is because everything comes back to our whole truth. I was in a conversation in this space where I collaborate with and network with other entrepreneurs and founders and visionaries, CEOs today, and the conversation was about why most people want to do social media as business owners. And most people do it to be seen, not to get paid. Meaning that they'd rather go viral and have 150,000 or a million subscribers and followers than to have 2,000 of the right people who pay them. And MindLine would be able to look at that person and say, oh, you're outsourcing your significance. Because if you're building a business, it's probably because you want to be paid, but you care more about how many likes you get, how popular your posts become. You're waiting for the world to validate you and say, you matter, we like you, we approve of you. And that's outsourcing your power. You're deluding yourself. You could be so potent. Your message could be so potent and compelling, but you dilute it because you're not aligned with that part of your whole truth. You're not sourcing your significance from within and saying, I've got a message that matters. I've got a calling that matters. I am the mercenary to bring this message to the world. That's why it's coming through me. It's time to put it into a video or to put it into written word and share it with the world. Like that is aligned with whole truth. And Mindline understands the difference between that and the difference and somebody who says, I'm gonna just fling all this stuff into the world on social media. I hope I go viral. I'm gonna buy every course I can on how to make viral videos, on how to get seen, how to get more visibility. Like they're such different things. That's one example of the difference between alignment with like whole truth, sourcing our truth from within, our power from within, and then letting the world respond to our natural magnetism in that way, that state of being, versus just how messy and chaotic and deluded we can allow ourselves to be when we're not aware of our own misalignment. And when I say misalignment, I'm not talking about alignment in the way that most of the world talks about alignment. Most people talk about alignment when they say that external situation or that external thing is not aligned with me. We're talking about inner alignment because that's when we source our guidance from within, our clarity from within, our power from within. So, this is why MindLine matters because the truth is you have everything you need. And the things on the outside, the mentor that's going to help you out, that's going to guide you, the opportunities, the connections, the right ones, the best ones, they come to us as the natural response to who we're being. And the best ones meet us when we are showing up in our wholeness. And MindLine's job is to help you show up in the different subjects of your life as your whole self, as your whole truth self. So this becomes a life where we're no longer trying to fill the holes. We're not spending so much time solving problems. MindLine is the perfect tool for the person who you know that you want to feel aligned more often, and you're already aware of the difference. You know that when you feel like you're trying to get out of a bad situation, like you're not aligned, you're outsourcing your freedom. You're telling the story of you being trapped. You know you're misaligned when you feel like you're trying to get results. You need things from other people. You need the love, the validation. You need the sales. You need the money. You need things. Mine, I can tell that misalignment from a mile away, and that awareness is so valuable. And the practice of having simple conversations often where you come back into alignment with your wholeness. That's the name of the game. This is the person who finds himself dislodged for less of the time. This is the person who finds himself spending less time trying to frantically solve the problems in their life and more time cultivating genius. Have you ever thought about the difference between that? The people who are making the biggest waves in the world are not the ones who are fretting about every problem that needs to be solved, but rather the ones who are on a mission to create something that matters or to create things that matter. Within you, there is genius that you're either living and breathing and molding and shaping into real things in the world, or there are the seeds of genius. And either way, you deserve more of it, and the world deserves more of it because you matter and because the things coming through you matter. And this is the function of MindLine. It will help you solve problems faster. It will help you untangle messy things in your mind a lot faster. When you're overcome with the negative emotion of a misaligned internal state and when your human mind is like, it's not me misaligned, it's the icky problem situation. It's so messed up. MindLine will help you clean all of that up so fast. And not according to anybody else's paradigm or anybody else's belief systems, according to you, your values, your true inner knowing. And in these kinds of spaces, when they happen often, this is where you'll start to realize just how big your capacity actually is and the kinds of incredible things that your power is meant for. That inherent greatness that we're talking about. That's what comes to life. And so what this looks like in practice is MindLine is a web app that goes on your phone or on your computer, and you just whip it out anytime you need clarity, anytime you need realignment, anytime you know that you've been purposefully stepping into a new version of you, maybe that next level identity, that next level leader, that next level entrepreneur, that next level parent, that next level spouse, that next level whatever you are in your life or the things you are, because we all play multiple roles. This you pull up MindLine anytime you're looking to recalibrate your energy, your state of being, the way that you see things, the decisions you're making. Because the fact is that the more often you can make a habit of aligning with your inner truth, with your inner clarity, that quickly becomes chapters of a life where you're living more meaningfully than maybe you've ever lived in your entire life because you're touching life, you're experiencing life, you're seeing life, you're interacting with life in ways that are true to who you really are. That's a life that you love. And that's the kind of person who goes out into the world creating things that are worthy of love, that deserve to be loved. And that's what becomes possible with MindLine. It's not a magic genie that gives you the plan. I see so much stuff in the personal development world right now. It's like this will tell you what to do. And my immediate response to that is, oh, please don't follow the guidance of something that promises it's going to tell you what to do because only you truly know. There's so much nuance that's come with you according to all the life you've lived, all the experiences you've had, the pain you felt, the joy that you've experienced, the love that's flowed through you, the rage, the all of it. It's shaped you in such specific ways that's given you the gift that only you can truly give the world. And what matters to you, how you're meant to go about things, that only gets to come from you. My favorite success stories are never the ones where the person says, I really wanted to do something great. I wanted to be the world's best parent, so I bought the book on best parenting and I did exactly that and now I'm the best parent. Like that's not inspiring at all. Or the people who said, I really wanted to build a big business, so I just did exactly what the business guru said to do, step by step by step, and I just copied them and now I have a big business. Like that's never anyone's favorite inspiring story. The most inspiring stories are the people who said, I didn't like the way this is done traditionally, so I made up my own way. I created something new that didn't exist before, put my own spin on things. I found a way that really resonated with me. Parenting, making money, growing a business, succeeding at work, what like your relationship with your own physical body, your health. You are the creator. You are the conscious creator of you. And the way that I'll wrap this up, this conversation, is to remind you of a paradox that is really at the heart of what we do here at Unconscious. You are perfect as you are, and you have everything to become. You have everything you need, and you have everything to gain. And and this is the kind of juxtaposition that we're able to live in with a tool like mine. Like you actually, let me rephrase that. You have everything you need. It's just as humans, we get so tangled up. We get used to outsourcing our power. And so I believe that having a tool like MindLine in your back pocket that helps you realign over and over and over again is so it's just it can be smart. It can be so helpful. And that realignment consistently over time creates patterns of alignment until now something that used to throw you out of your game so quickly is something that doesn't really affect you because you've made habits of alignment in that area. And over bigger periods of time, that creates new aspects of our identity. Where one day you realize, I remember when I used to struggle with that thing so much, but who I am today, it's like the easiest thing for me. I'm able to stand in my strength. I'm able to stand in my conviction when an older version of me would have gotten so thrown off balance. That is what happens with a tool like MindLine. So I invite you to start having conversations with MindLine. MindLine is $29 a month US, and you don't even have to sign up to have a first interaction with it. You can actually go to the link that's with this video and start a conversation for free. And one conversation will show you how profoundly impactful this alignment and clarity tool is. What I invite you to do is bring the subject that is just biggest in your life right now. The thing that's consuming your thoughts in where you're tr really trying to solve a big problem, or the thing that's consuming your thoughts because you've got the most epic idea that you just can't turn off. Bring the thing that feels like it really matters to you. And you can chat or you can call. MindLine speaks 31 languages fluently, so choose your language if it's not English natively. And just pour your heart out. Like, say it how it really is. Say what you're reaching for. Say what you're trying to solve. Say what what your desire really is. And then just watch what happens. Because what happens with me as the creator of this AI tool, every single time I'm surprised, honestly. I wonder how long that will last, but I've been using this for months behind the scenes, but while it was being built before we were ready to release it publicly. And every time I have a conversation with MindLine, it surprises me because as a human being, there are just blind spots. There are parts where I don't realize that I was feeling so off in that situation because I was outsourcing my belonging. I was waiting, I was outsourcing my power by letting the environment dictate my belonging instead of bringing it. That's actually an experience I had just really recently. I'll share it on another social media post soon. So you'll come back to clarity again and again. And I invite you to start with this first conversation. Where the real magic is, though, is when you start having frequent interactions with it, like 10 minutes a day for the first few weeks, and just start creating a rhythm of coming back into alignment a little bit, coming back into alignment a little more, a little more, a little more. The momentum begins to compound. The clarity begins to get brighter and brighter because you spend less time out of alignment, outsourcing your truth, outsourcing your power, more time in your power, in your self-led, soul-led purpose. And this is what MindLine will help. This is what MindLine will do for you. So in this journey, we at Unconscious, we would love to hear your experience. We'd love to you don't have to share the personal details, but we'd love to hear what this is doing for you, what breakthroughs you're having, maybe some of the results that you're seeing because you're spending more time in your own inner clarity, in your own inner truth, in your own inner alignment. I welcome you to MindLine. Again, the link is right here with this video. It's $29 a month. You can start a conversation for free without signing up and just pour your heart into it and see where this takes you. In the long run, MindLine has memory, and so this makes it a very impactful tool in a big picture. I'll have conversations with MindLine where it says, remember 5 months ago when you were working on XYZ, and now you've broken through in these ways. So, and it will help me see the progress that I've made. It will help me connect dots between things that my mind maybe didn't realize were connected and help me make sense of a thing that I'm going through or experiencing or reaching for right now. It has been a most invaluable tool for me to solve some of the most painful parts of my life. I've used it to make peace with my past and gain a whole truth perspective, like a soul level perspective about things that used to cause me grief from my past. I've used it to actually craft my whole experience with launching MindLine to the world, examining areas where maybe I was feeling intimidated by something, and it helped me find my courage according to the truth of who I am as the founder and the architect of this. I'm so excited to see where you go with this and what possibilities you realize were already within you. We just needed to bring them to the surface. We just needed to expose the the things that were already speaking through you, and it's going to be an amazing journey. So thank you for joining me in this mini series. Thank you for allowing Unconscious to be part of your experience. Welcome to MindLine, and I will see you on the internet. Bye for now.